Warning, in today's video you'll be seeing some opal that will knock your eyes out. That's an old expression. It translates as an extreme eye candy-like experience.
A couple of years ago, I received a specimen that I bought on eBay. The claim was that it was extraordinarily colorful opal. It looked like it might have potential, and it was pretty cheap, so I just bought it. Only when I received it did I see that it was packed in water. Now, keeping things in water is a good idea. Most opal can crack. It's just a fact. If you think that that's not the case, well, wake up and smell the opal. Smells like water. So I took it, I ground it, smooth, got rid of all the sand, smoothed it out, made it look great. And it did look great. Until it didn't. Pretty in its own right, I must admit. But I did not expect it to be cracked all to hell. So I said to myself, self, you need to get some more of this stuff and see what you can do to prevent cracking from occurring. Or maybe just fix the cracks.
In an earlier video, I demonstrate how Opticon 224 could seal the cracks in Australian opal. Australian opal is a lot like glass, and liquids just can't penetrate it. It works by filling the spaces between the cracks. Now, Ethiopian opal is a whole other story. It has these tiny holes all through it, sort of like that fancy cheese. You put it in water, and over a period of 1 to 4 hours or so, water will sneak in and make the opal disappear. Well, I'm just kidding. It doesn't really disappear. After a few days, the water will dry out and it's back to its old sparkly self again. I've been working on fixing Ethiopian opal cracks. And I have some eye-knocking opals to show you. If you have sensitive eyes, now's the time to close them. Either that or put on some of those dark glasses that you watch the sun with. But you can't use Opticon in Ethiopian opal because it gets into all the little holes and turns white. And your opal will be forever white. So I experimented with a whole bunch of other different things to try to seal the Ethiopian opal cracks. The first opal that I worked on I call the sausage. The sausage is relatively small, but it has a lot of color, sort of like me, except for the part about being small and colorful. Grind gets its sand off, a little bit more grinding. Continue grinding and shaping up pretty well, starting to look like a sausage. Here's right after I finished grinding. Looks great, right? But after about a week, the cracks started showing up, mostly near the surface. Much better than before, but not good enough. This is a 380 carat, giant, beautiful, mostly clear opal. Had to grind it out, reshape it. Finally, it's starting to take shape and just have a few little spots left. This looks really great. Finally, a successful treatment. Wrong! Not successful. Cracks appeared mostly near the surface. Still beautiful, but failure. In this round, I started to have some success. This third stone is not really an eye knocker, but it is our giveaway stone, so listen up. So in my third round, I stabilized this opal, and the tiny cracks look pretty good. There are very few of them, but what we do see are these big cracks, and there's no way that these will ever come out. These are cracks that occurred while the stone was in the ground. Soluble material got in between the cracks and deposited there. Third round looked pretty good. This is one of the most beautiful pieces of opal that I've ever seen. I think what I'm going to do with this, since it's got these clean, shiny breaks, I think that I'm going to polish the dull areas, sort of carve this, and leave it as an intact specimen. Rarely do you get to see a specimen this beautiful of any type of opal. This one is really gorgeous, and all I have to do is just smooth out these rough areas, and it'll remain a beautiful specimen. Here we are.
Workstation Alpha, and I'm going to carve this. So it's come down to this. I've polished the smooth surfaces all the way around, and the only thing left are the indentations that were not in the plane of the surface. So I have to go back and carve, use my flex shaft to work on this thing. And I can tell you, I take my flex shaft very seriously. Very seriously. I saved this one for last because it's so beautiful. But it's a stunner. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that sand. Okay, we're going to continue working. Get this sand.
It's really starting to look good. Getting to see some color. Now look closely here, and what is that? That's a honeycomb pattern. Wow. Beautiful. A second ago I had a deja vu. It looked like some of the finest Australian opals that I've ever worked. It's just a momentary thing. What a stone. Good grief.
So we're down to our two final stones, the Stone Brothers. This one with a great honeycomb pattern, brilliant. This one with as much or more color, and it goes from light to almost black. You can see the dark is going all the way close to this surface. This is like two male birds trying to impress the female. Get ready. When I saw these come out, the first thing I said to myself was, knock your eyes out. Two of the most beautiful opals that I've ever seen in my life. And that's the truth. They have flaws, they have tiny cracks, but
You know, these days, people are a lot more accepting of flaws. I mean, who would want to be with me? Well, I'll tell you, a fool. Only a fool would want to be with me. Oh, honey, you know I mean that in the nicest possible way, right? Right?
129 carats. 59 carats. So what I want to know is what in the heck happened? Was I to blame? Had I broken a mirror? Or maybe I committed one of the 7 deadly sins. I've heard about them. Better look this up. Give me a minute. I've looked into this matter, and, well, these are the so-called 7 deadly sins. Pride. Well, greed. Envy. Lust. Sloth. Sloth. No, not me. Gluttony. Check. Wrath. No, I'm not guilty of wrath. So I'm not guilty of the 7 deadly sins because I'm not guilty of wrath. I mean, not that anybody knows of. Only, well, I won't say any more. But 6 out of 7, that's not enough to be guilty of these so-called 7 deadly sins. And I didn't crack this opal. Sheila must have done it. Or maybe PewDiePie. It's really a very nice piece, and wouldn't this make a nice giveaway? Bet you it weighs 20 carats. Looks like the Tree of Life. We'll give away the Tree of Life opal, weighing in at 29.1 carats. We're going to change the name from the Tree of Life to Man on Fire. The reason I changed the name is because you always orient the opal so that the color is brightest. If this hangs as a pendant, this is the way you want it, showing all that color. Okay, Man on Fire giveaway. Someone's going to really like this. Lots of people are going to really like it, but only one will receive it. We can't cut it in half. Well, maybe we can cut it in half.
It's time to announce the winner of the giveaway from my last video, the Opal Cannonball. And the winner is, wait for it, Lissu H. I appreciate the support, and we may soon have to celebrate having 33,000 subscribers. Oops, we already made it. Let's party. See you next time.